For a lot of expats moving to Dubai, this might be the first time they've even needed medical insurance, so let's make sure that you understand it. What I'm going to do is talk you through a standard table of benefits, which is what you can claim for. Let's start with the most important aspect of your insurance plan, your network. Why is this important? This is the hospitals, clinics, and pharmacies that you can go to under the term of direct billing. And that means that you can walk in, hand over your Emirates ID card, and they will charge most, if not all of the bill to the insurance company. If you go outside of your network, you will pay the whole bill up front and then you have to claim a reimbursement. I know what some of you are thinking, that's okay, I'm going to use my credit card. No, this will cost you more money. The insurance company gets cheaper rates than you would because they pay for the treatments in bulk. The insurer does not want to pay higher rates just so you can use a credit card. So to discourage this, they penalise that behaviour and they typically won't reimburse the full amount. That's in the terms of the policy, so there isn't much that you can do about it. If you don't want a hefty bill, stay inside your network. There are a few things you can do to make your life easier. Make sure you identify the nearest clinics, hospitals and pharmacies to your work. If your HR, stick a notice on the wall, send out staff email, whatever you have to do just to make sure everyone knows where they can go without issues of reimbursement. Do the same at home with the fridge, so husbands, wives, nannies, kids. Everyone is aware that if you have a problem, this is where you go to. Or download the app. All the insurance companies and network providers have them now. I just prefer to know it off by heart. Actually, while we're at it, for emergency services, it's 999 for the police, it's 998 for an ambulance, and it's 997 for the firemen or fire people, whatever the PC term is nowadays. Okay, on to the next section. Inpatient versus outpatient. What's the difference? Inpatient means that you have been admitted into hospital. This usually means surgery, childbirth, or you've probably been heavily medicated and you're being closely monitored. Most inpatient benefits are in full or very comprehensive, so I won't go into too much detail on that. Outpatient treatments typically means that you are in and you're out the same day. Think blood tests, scans, x-rays, your day-to-day doctor's visits. Outpatient treatments are the ones that you are most likely to use because this is the section that covers your coughs, your colds, your rashes, medication, small injuries, physio, etc. So take a close look at your terms here because on this section is where you're likely to pay a portion of the bill unless it states nil co-insurance, in which case just skip forwards 30 seconds. Most plans, you will see a 20% max 50 a lot. This means you'll pay up to 50 dirhams for the doctor's consultation, but not more. Think of this as a one-off 50 dirham fee when you walk into a clinic. The tests and follow-up procedures are normally free for the next 7 to 10 days. If you haven't got that, you may have a percentage to pay on all treatments. So this means if you have an x-ray, you could be paying 20% of the bill, blood test 20%, ultrasound 20%, medication 20%, and so on. You get the picture. The bill can add up quite quickly, so make sure that you understand that. I know this is a section where a lot of employees get upset about, but having the member share some of the bill is a cost-saving measure, and it's absolutely justified for some companies um, who just need to keep their claims down. This means most of us are paying part of the bill, especially with things like prescriptions. If you have access to Telehealth, then this is a fantastic service to use. It means a phone or a video consultation from the comfort of your own home. You don't have to pay any fees for the appointment. You don't have to sit in a waiting room full of ill people, and you don't have to drive anywhere. Just book an appointment, speak to a doctor from the comfort of your sofa. You can even get blood tests done at home or prescriptions delivered to your door. This is a much more cost-effective and convenient way of accessing healthcare, especially for people with chronic conditions or those who'd like to access mental health care. Use it if you can. How about maternity? The DHA, that's the Dubai Health Authority, have been great here and set minimum standards of cover. All married females on a DHA compliant policy must have a minimum of 7,000 dirhams for delivery costs, as well as additional prenatal services like scans and blood work. So let's put that into context for you. On one end of the scale, at some of the cheaper hospitals, that limit will do exactly what it's designed for and cover the majority, if not all, of the costs. If you go somewhere like Al Zahra, Medcare, Saudi German, you'll be looking to pay maybe 12 to 15,000 dirhams. If you had a C-section somewhere like Mediclinic, you'll be looking to pay high 20s into the 30,000 dirham plus. Dental. This is an optional add-on which most companies don't include or just can't afford to do so. If you have got it, count yourself lucky. With a local insurance plan, basically anything priced in dirhams, don't expect to have much more than 3,000 dirhams of cover. You might have more on the higher international, the dollar price plans. And you'll usually have an element of co-insurance in there too, which means, you guessed it, you'll have to pay some of the bill. The last point I want to touch on is the overall limit. This is the big number you have near the top of the page. Again, this is another point that has minimum standards by the DHA, which is 150,000 dirhams to be exact. If you've got a small network, 1 or 2 hospitals, and you're using the policy sporadically, a broken arm, a straightforward surgery or day-to-day prescription, this limit would be more than enough. When your network gets larger, the cost of treatment typically goes up because you're accessing more expensive facilities. So as a rule of thumb, the bigger your network, the higher limit you will need. In most circumstances, 1 million dirham limit will have you pretty well covered. If you are really concerned about this limit not being enough, for example, you want treatment in America or Europe, then you can increase this too. International plans usually have a way higher limit anyway. So that was a brief introduction into medical insurance. I hope you found it useful. If you need to get in contact with me, please drop me a message.